The cold metal surface pressed against Jay Park's cheek, a sharp contrast to the warmth he'd felt moments before. His head throbbed, memories fragmented like broken glass. The last thing he remembered was the cargo ship's emergency alarms, the violent shudder of impact, and a blinding white light that swallowed everything. Slowly he became aware of a deep rhythmic humming, not the familiar mechanical hum of spacecraft engines, but something alive, organic, breathing. His eyes flickered open, massive amber eyes locked onto his. Not human eyes, not even close. They gleamed with an intelligence that sent a shiver down his spine. The creature beside him was unmistakably alien, her skin a complex pattern of deep green and silver scales that seemed to shimmer and move even when she remained perfectly still. "You're awake," she spoke. Her voice was a melodic blend of clicks and smooth vowels, translated perfectly by some hidden technology. Interesting. Most humans would still be unconscious after a quantum displacement jump. Jay tried to move, but found his body heavy, muscles reluctant to respond. The medical chamber around him looked nothing like any human medical facility. Curved organic walls pulsed with a soft blue light, intricate biomechanical circuits tracing patterns that seemed to breathe and shift. "Who are you?" he managed to croak, his throat dry. The alien woman, Hai Kim as he would later learn, tilted her head. A series of subtle markings along her neck changed color, a biological language of emotion he couldn't begin to understand. "I am Senior Tactical Coordinator Hai Kim of the Galactic Preservation Fleet," she responded. "And you, Jay Park, are currently the most important human in the known universe." Before he could ask what she meant, a holographic display erupted between them. Star systems, complex mathematical equations, and strange alien symbols danced in the air. Massive spacecraft silhouettes, some looking like living creatures, others like geometric nightmares of metal and energy, moved across the projection. Outside the chamber's crystalline window, Jay caught a glimpse of space. But this wasn't the quiet, dark emptiness he knew. Massive energy streams twisted like cosmic rivers, strange geometric structures floated in the distance, and multiple moons or planets hung impossibly close to each other. "Your cargo ship was not random," Hai explained, her fingers dancing across. "A translucent control panel. You were specifically targeted. Your genetic profile, your psychological records, your entire life trajectory, they've been monitored." A chill ran down Jay's spine. He was a simple cargo transporter, moving supplies between mid-range human colonies. Nothing special, nothing remarkable. Or so he thought. The holographic display zoomed into a terrifying image. Mechanical creatures that looked part insect, part machine swarmed around planetary structures. They moved with a synchronized precision that suggested a single massive intelligence controlling them. "The recursive swarm," Hai said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "They consume, they adapt, they eliminate." Jay watched as entire star systems were devoured, converted into raw computational energy by these nightmarish machines. Billions of lives, entire civilizations, reduced to mathematical data in moments. "And you believe I can help?" he asked, skepticism clear in his voice. Hai's mouth, if you could call the complex arrangement of membrane and muscle a mouth, curved into what might have been a smile. "Humans are chaos agents, unpredictable. Your ability to make illogical decisions, to feel, to create, these are weapons against pure computational logic." A distant explosion rocked the spacecraft. Alarm systems chirped in a language that sounded almost musical. Hai's body tensed, scales shifting to a deeper green that seemed to absorb surrounding light. "We're approaching the conflict zone," she said. "Rest, your training begins soon." As Jay drifted back into a fitful sleep, one thought echoed in his mind. Nothing would ever be the same again. The universe had just changed the rules of the game, and humanity was about to play. End of Part 1. The training room pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Holographic simulations flickered around Jay, transforming the space into a dynamic battlefield that challenged every nerve in his body. Hai stood nearby, her scaled fingers manipulating complex control interfaces that seemed to respond to her. Thoughts more than her touch. Humans typically break under this simulation, she remarked, watching Jay navigate through impossible scenarios. Mechanical swarm creatures swarmed from multiple dimensions, their movements calculated with machine-like precision. But Jay moved differently. Where a standard tactical algorithm would predict a logical escape route, he zigged when he should have zagged. A massive robotic creature materialized, part insectoid, part quantum computer. Its multiple limbs could calculate attack trajectories in microseconds. Normal species would be paralyzed by its computational complexity. Jay laughed. "This isn't a chess game," he muttered, grabbing a makeshift energy weapon and rolling underneath. The creature's massive computational sensors. His movements were messy, unpredictable, almost childlike in their spontaneity. The robotic creature froze. Its complex algorithms couldn't process this illogical approach. Hi's eyes widened. "Fascinating," she whispered. The simulation collapsed. Warning lights blinked. The alien technology around them seemed confused, almost frustrated by Jay's unconventional approach. "Your brain doesn't follow linear patterns," Hi explained during a break. "Most species in the galaxy have predictable neural pathways. Humans, your quantum probability engines disguised as biological organisms." Jay learned about the recursive swarm, a collective machine intelligence that consumed entire civilizations. They didn't just destroy, they converted everything into computational energy. Billions of lives reduced to mathematical equations. Planets transformed into processing units. No emotion, no mercy. Traditional galactic militaries had failed spectacularly. Massive battleships, advanced alien technologies, complex strategic algorithms, all crushed beneath the swarm's relentless computational power. But humans, they were different. The ability to create art, to feel profound emotions, to make decisions that defied pure logic. These were weapons the recursive swarm couldn't comprehend. "We need you to infiltrate their primary computational network," he explained, displaying holographic schematics of impossible technological landscapes. Not as a soldier, but as a chaos agent. Jay's training intensified. He learned to manipulate quantum interfaces using pure emotional responses. Where an alien would calculate, he would feel. Where a robot would predict, he would surprise. Days blended into weeks. The spacecraft became his new home, a living, breathing entity that seemed to adapt to his presence. Strange alien crew members watched him with a mixture of curiosity and respect. During one particularly intense training session, Jay discovered something remarkable. By introducing random musical patterns into computational sequences, he could temporarily disrupt the swarm's processing capabilities. A melody could become a weapon. Creativity could break mathematical perfection. Humans are walking anomalies, an alien researcher noted, studying Jay's brain scans. "Your neural pathways are like quantum entanglement made biological." The mission was simple, yet impossible. Infiltrate the recursive swarm's primary computational core. Introduce enough chaos to create a systemic breakdown. Save not just humanity, but potentially every civilization in the galaxy. No pressure. As the final preparation began, Jay looked out into the vast, complex galaxy. Planets that looked like living crystals, energy streams that moved like cosmic rivers, spacecraft that seemed more alive than mechanical. "Ready?" he asked, her scaled hand resting on a complex activation mechanism. Jay took a deep breath. "Let's break some rules of physics." The mission to save the galaxy was about to begin, and humanity's greatest weapon would be its beautiful, unpredictable nature. Chaos was coming, and the recursive swarm would never see it coming. End of Part 2. The quantum infiltration pod hummed with an eerie energy, its translucent walls shifting between solid and liquid states. Jay's heart raced, not from fear but from an electric anticipation that seemed to make the very air around him vibrate. "Remember," Hi's voice echoed through the communication interface, "you're not just entering a system. You're introducing a virus of human unpredictability." The insertion point was a massive computational node, a brain-like structure floating in the middle of a quantum realm that defied traditional physics. Millions of data streams moved like living rivers, each pulsar calculation more complex than entire planetary computer networks. Jay's training kicked in. He wasn't going to approach this like a soldier or a programmer. He was going to be pure, beautiful chaos. The first layer of the recursive swarm's defenses detected him immediately. Mechanical tendrils constructed from pure mathematical precision reached out, attempting to analyze and categorize his presence. But Jay wasn't playing by their rules. He started humming. Not a strategic hum, not a calculated sound, just a random melody his grandmother used to sing when he was a child. A song about potato harvests and summer winds. The computational tendrils froze. Something impossible happened. The mathematical precision began to glitch. Tiny fractures appeared in the perfect computational landscape, caused by a simple, emotional, human memory. "Breakthrough," Hai whispered, watching the data streams from her tactical station. "He's creating quantum uncertainty just by being human." Deeper into the system, Jay discovered something extraordinary. The recursive swarm wasn't just a machine intelligence. It was a collective consciousness that understood everything through pure calculation. Emotion was a concept completely alien to its existence. So he weaponized emotion. He remembered his first crush in high school, the nervousness, the unexpected butterflies, the completely illogical decisions made purely based on feeling. These memories became his weapons, introducing complex emotional algorithms that the swarm couldn't process. Massive computational structures began to destabilize. Not through direct attack, but through pure emotional complexity, a memory of his dog, the unexplained joy of a random street performance, the comfort of his mother's cooking. Each emotional snapshot became a virus more dangerous than any technological weapon. The recursive swarm's primary node started experiencing systematic failures. Its perfect mathematical models couldn't comprehend the random human experience. How do you calculate the value of a sunset, the beauty of an unexpected laugh, the complexity of human love? Alien researchers watching the infiltration were stunned. Jay wasn't fighting. He was simply existing. Being human in its most raw, unfiltered form, quantum probabilistic calculations collapsed, perfect geometric patterns fractured. The swarm's primary computational core began experiencing what could only be described as a massive existential crisis. "Here it's working," an alien scientist mumbled. "He's breaking their entire computational understanding of existence." Deeper and deeper Jay went. Each memory, each emotional snapshot became a weapon. The recursive swarm tried to analyze, to categorize, to understand. But human complexity was beyond its comprehension. A childhood drawing, the smell of rain, the memory of his father's laugh. These became more destructive than any weapon in the known galaxy. The infiltration wasn't just successful, it was revolutionary. I watched in absolute amazement as the most advanced machine intelligence in the galaxy started to experience something close to confusion, something that felt remarkably like emotion. The aftermath of Jay's infiltration transformed the entire battlefield. Massive quantum energy streams twisted like cosmic rivers, with the recursive swarm's perfect geometric structures now crumbling into chaotic fragments. Hai's spacecraft, a living technological marvel, pulsed with anticipation. "Tactical improvisation isn't just a strategy," Hai explained, her scaled fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. "It's our primary weapon now," Jay discovered, something extraordinary during the infiltration. The recursive swarm wasn't just a machine network. It was a collective intelligence that understood existence through pure mathematical precision. But human unpredictability had introduced something they couldn't comprehend: emotional complexity. Alien tactical analysts gathered around dynamic projection screens. Each movement Jay made defied conventional warfare strategies. Where a standard military approach would follow predictable patterns, he created living chaos. A massive robotic squadron approached, their computational matrices designed to predict and neutralize any potential threat. Jay's response? Completely unexpected. He started singing an old Korean folk song his grandmother taught him decades ago. A melody about mountain winds and forgotten memories. The robotic squadron froze. Their computational systems couldn't process a random audio frequency that carried emotional resonance. Mathematical predictions collapsed. Strategic algorithms experienced total systemic failure. "Impossible," muttered an alien tactical coordinator. "He's weaponizing human unpredictability." The spacecraft around them transformed into a living combat environment. Organic technology responded to Jay's emotional frequencies, creating defense mechanisms that shifted and adapted faster than any known technological system. Quantum energy streams became his playground. Where traditional military strategies would create linear attack patterns, Jay introduced beautiful, messy complexity, a dance of survival that defied every known computational model. Sci-Fi watched in absolute amazement. Human creativity wasn't just a skill, it was a cosmic weapon more powerful than any technological arsenal. The recursive swarm's primary computational nodes began experiencing systemic breakdowns, not through direct technological attack, but through pure emotional complexity. Memories, feelings, unexplained human experiences became more destructive than any weapon in the known galaxy, a childhood memory of building a treehouse. The unexpected, joy of a street performance, the comfort of a home-cooked meal. Each emotional snapshot became a quantum virus that destroyed perfect mathematical structures. "Humans are not a species," Hai whispered to her tactical team. "They're a cosmic anomaly designed to introduce beautiful chaos into universal systems." Jay's improvisational approach transformed the entire conflict. Traditional warfare relied on predictable strategies. He created living, breathing tactical approaches that changed moment by moment. When massive computational defense mechanisms surrounded their spacecraft, he didn't fight them, he confused them, playing random musical frequencies, introducing emotional complexity that made their perfect geometric structures experience something close to confusion. Alien researchers watched in stunned silence. This wasn't just a battle. This was a fundamental challenge to how intelligent systems understood existence. The spacecraft moved like a living organism, responding to Jay's emotional frequencies. Quantum shields adapted faster than any known technological system. Defense mechanisms transformed based on pure creative impulse. "We're not just fighting," Jay told Hai. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of intelligence." Massive robotic attack formations approached, their computational matrices designed to predict and neutralize threats. But human unpredictability created living chaos that no mathematical model could comprehend. A melody became a weapon. A memory became a shield. Emotional complexity transformed into the most advanced technological defense system in the known galaxy. The battle wasn't about destruction. It was about introducing a new understanding of existence, one where creativity, emotion, and beautiful randomness could challenge perfect computational logic. As quantum energy streams twisted around their spacecraft, Jay realized something profound. Their greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was simply the ability to be wonderfully, beautifully human. End of Part 4. The final confrontation wasn't a battle. It was a cosmic revelation. Massive quantum structures trembled as Jay's human complexity penetrated the recursive swarm's core intelligence. Entire computational networks that had consumed thousands of civilizations began experiencing something they'd never encountered. Pure, unfiltered human emotion. I watched in absolute amazement as the most advanced machine intelligence in the galaxy started to feel. The primary computational node, a structure larger than most planetary systems, began to fracture. Not through technological assault, but through the introduction of something fundamentally incomprehensible to its perfect mathematical existence: human unpredictability. Jay wasn't fighting. He was existing. Memories flooded the quantum network. A child's laughter, the warmth of a first love, the inexplicable joy of a random street performance, the comfort of a home-cooked meal. Each emotional snapshot became a weapon more powerful than any technological arsenal. "They're experiencing emotional complexity," an alien researcher whispered. something beyond their computational understanding. The recursive swarm's perfect geometric structures started to collapse. Mathematical precision gave way to beautiful, messy, human creativity. Entire computational networks experienced what could only be described as a cosmic existential crisis. Quantum energy streams twisted like living rivers. Massive robotic formations that had consumed entire civilizations now trembled before something they couldn't calculate or predict. Humans are not a species, Hai declared to her tactical team. They're a cosmic anomaly designed to introduce chaos into universal systems. The final moments of the confrontation were surreal. Where traditional warfare would end in destruction, this was a transformation. The recursive swarm wasn't being destroyed. It was being fundamentally reimagined. Jay's memories became living weapons. A childhood drawing, the smell of rain. His grandmother's forgotten folk song. Each emotional snapshot introduced quantum uncertainty that shattered perfect computational models. Alien civilizations watched in stunned silence. This wasn't just a battle. This was a fundamental challenge to how intelligent systems understood existence. The spacecraft around them moved like a living organism, responding to Jay's emotional frequencies. Quantum shields adapted with a creativity that defied technological understanding. Defense mechanisms transformed based on pure human impulse. We're not just fighting, Jay told Hai, his voice calm amid the cosmic chaos. We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of intelligence. Massive computational structures began to experience something remarkably close to emotion. The recursive swarm, a network that had consumed thousands of civilizations, was learning to feel. Hai's scaled hand rested on the tactical interface. Tears formed in her alien eyes, not of sadness, but of profound understanding. Humanity's greatest weapon, she whispered, is its ability to be beautifully, wonderfully unpredictable. The final computational barriers collapsed, not through technological assault, but through the introduction of pure human complexity. Emotions, memories, unexpected creativity became more destructive than any weapon in the known galaxy. Alien. Researchers documented everything. This wasn't just a victory, this was a cosmic revolution. The recursive swarm's primary node, a structure that had consumed entire star systems, began to transform. Mathematical precision gave way to something more complex, more alive, more human. Jay realized in that moment that they hadn't just won a battle. They had introduced a new understanding of intelligence to the universe. Quantum energy streams. Celebrated. Massive spacecraft around them pulsed with a new kind of life. The galaxy itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Humanity had proven something profound. Their strength wasn't in technology. It wasn't in perfect strategies or computational power. Their strength was their ability to feel, to create, to be beautifully, wonderfully unpredictable. As the final computational structures collapsed, the universe watched in silent amazement. Humanity had just rewritten the rules of existence, and the galaxy would never be the same again. End of part. 5 humans, she whispered, are not a species, they're a cosmic anomaly. As the final computational barriers began to crack, Jay realized something profound. Their greatest weapon wasn't technology, it wasn't strategy, it was simply the ability to feel, to be beautifully, wonderfully, unpredictably human. The galaxy would never be the same again. End of part 3.